Hey Cancer, my name is Dre. Welcome to your April 2017 reading. General as hell, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you want a reading, email me. Follow my Twitter. Happy Mercury retrograde. I didn't watch the video for you guys that I did last week or last month. I totally forgot it or forgot to watch it. But I remember I was pretty passionate in that reading. It was mainly about just letting a lot of things go. Recognizing what matters and what doesn't in terms of like, how can I say these things without repeating myself? I feel like I repeat myself a lot. Because, astrologically, for you guys, a lot of crazy stuff is happening, as well as the other cardinal signs. Aries, Libra, Capricorn, where it's like you guys have to implement change to see your circumstances improve because things are very difficult right now. And that's true for everybody, but I feel like it's especially tough for you guys. So, and that reading was tough, so let's just try to start the different energy or to see how that story has unfolded. Because some of you were dealing with somebody exclusively, like a marriage. I really saw, really trying to get past, somebody doing y'all wrong in a relationship. While I was shuffling, the King of Cups also came out, as well as the Ace of Pentacles. But they've since got lost in the shuffle. But that card came out instead. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Swords reversed. The Moon. Eight of Pentacles reversed. Five of Cups reversed. The World reversed. The Magician. Five of Pentacles reversed. Strength reversed. Four of Pentacles reversed. And the Five of Swords reversed. You guys have a lot of reversals, but they're not bad. You have 3 fives that are reversed, which is actually really good. The only 5 that's missing is a 5 of Wands. So things might not be externally stressful or things might not be too draining. But I'm getting the sense that a lot of you're trying to, again, it's all about rebuilding what's been lost, rebuilding what has been sort of cleaning up the mess, cleaning up the aftermath. Because I'm sure for a lot of you, the worst probably has happened or is still like this transitional energy. And we have 4 major arcana here. So there is this, again, this transitory, transitional energy. Start here. I'm getting the sense that this King of Pentacles is you guys. Could be somebody else, but I'm going to put one more card for that King of Pentacles. Wow, and there's the 5 of Wands. So some of you, it's a struggle. It's tough, it's difficult. Because, okay, if you are dealing with somebody else, like if you're married or if you're dating somebody, or this could be your father, this could be a family situation. There are a few pentacles. It could deal with a boss. Things are tough. Things are at a head. But you guys have all the 5s here. And that is all about, it's the number of transformation in tarot. It's the number of having to go through the shit in order to get to something better. But in order for that to come about, we have to open our eyes up to what's, to what the problem is. To open our eyes up to what actually needs to be addressed, to actually implement change and implement the work that needs to be done. Otherwise, we're still dealing with these energies that are kind of hostile. And that's sort of the overall theme right now. things are undergoing changes because we do have these fives in reverse, which is good, sort of. But there has to be a process of letting things go. So I'll just start here. This Knight of Swords, this could be you, this could be somebody else. I'm gonna pull a card for them. Air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but of course it doesn't have to be. The Chariot in reverse came up, which is your card, Cancer, the Chariot. So I'm seeing that a lot of you, or some of you, are letting either petty disagreements, petty arguments, somebody that's coming back into your life, somebody that you had thought you had gotten rid of, like let's say they came back and you're trying to make it work again. That's an energy that is going to be very difficult to deal with, of course. It's going to be something that one, you cannot delude yourself. You can't convince yourself that some things are working when they're just not. You can't convince yourself that the way you're communicating with other people or with the way this person's communicating with you is going to lead to anything beneficial. And the hope for you is that something can come out of this because you've been given this opening, you've been given this opportunity to actually probably bring something to life, but I can see you easily misusing your power, misusing your words, misguiding yourself, trotting down the wrong path. But there's so much, you have so much faith that this could work that you don't want to see any other alternatives. You don't want to see anything different. And again, I'm getting the sense that this isn't going to be, it's going to be something that's going to be more difficult than you understand right now. And it's going to be something that it's like a slow energy. I don't know why I'm getting that. It's the Five of Wands with the King of Pentacles. It's like there's a slower energy where it's like, it's not entirely, because it's only one, and it's not entirely explosive, but it's more like there's like an underlying sense of hostility. Another sign got that sort of message, and I want to say it was Sagittarius. But either way, it's like, just be on your guard, and to understand that, you know, the choices we make, the options we take, are ones that that we have to live with, in terms of like, especially if we know somebody's bad for us, or if we know like a job situation, or like certain things that we do isn't to our benefit, but yeah, we go sort of heedlessly into them anyway without sort of understanding the history behind it. That could lead us to more stress and more struggle, and we can attract more of that into our lives. So just be on your toes. Just be on your toes about like who is actually, what's healthy for you and what isn't. What way of doing things is beneficial for you and what's not. And so I'm seeing that as being a very difficult process to sort of integrate, to sort of be made aware of, because you're either working against yourself. You're this Knight where you're sort of using your words and your intellect not to your greatest advantage. You're using it to sort of pursue some sort of fairy tale is the word that came to my mind, because the Chariot reverse, it's like we think we're headed in the right direction, but we have to replan, we have to recalibrate and reorganize this journey, because we're leading it. This Knight is pretty much leading this charge, but it's like, are you doing it for selfish reasons, or are you actually trying to make every aspect of your life better for you? Or is it more like, again, you're fighting yourself and you're fighting those around you? And so this is going to be an opportune time, an opportune moment for you to sort of come to some sort of understanding about what it is you are doing, about where you are headed. Because this moon here, the moon rules Cancer, even though this card is ruled by Pisces traditionally in tarot. I can see this as you guys as well, where it's like you have to allow a certain part of yourself to sort of come to the light. Because with the moon, there are secrets. And it's not an aspect of yourself that's readily apparent. You know, I'm thinking fourth house, which rules Cancer. That's the deepest part of ourselves that no one else sees, that no one else understands. But we do, sort of. And it's like sort of diving into that. It's not your subconscious. It's just what your heart wants, what you truly desire. And I think there's an opportunity here for you guys to sort of get more in touch with that. If you peel away the artifice, the moon, it's the illusions of the moon is only amplified by the artifice, by the artificial, which is more wise associated with Pisces and like Neptune, more dreamy sort of energy, where it's like you're more blinded by what could be this Chariot in reverse, not seeing the clearer picture, but wanting to believe in the daydream. But, you know, times are changing. You can't continue to be the victim, Five of Pentacles reverse. You can't continue to sort of allow yourself to just be guided by the whims of other people, the whims of like your own unclear motivations. You can't allow yourself to just do things without thinking about them, because I feel like that's going to be just not as beneficial for you going forward. So I feel like there's this opportunity, there's this time for you guys to sort of awaken yourselves, to come out of this, I don't know why fugue state came to my mind, but it can be sort of like a fugue state where it's like, I'm sorry, there's like the cutest thing happening outside right now. Like this mom seeing her daughter off to school, and it's just like, it's so cute. But anyway, it's like, so yeah, connect with your family. So Cancer, you guys rule family and you rule that. So it's like there's a part of yourself that's just gone astray, that's gotten unmoored, where it's like you've gotten out of touch with who you truly are. And it's like, you have to come back to that. You have to understand that the stressful path isn't the path for you. The more worrisome path, the more resentful path, that's not for you. The more unstrategized, I don't know if that's a word, but the less strategic aspect of yourself that's just sort of goes out and just sort of does things without really thinking about them, reacting solely on impulse and on feeling, which isn't bad, but it's like all the other water signs, you have to have some sort of grounded sort of foundation to that. Because you guys are the more, out of all the other water signs, you're the most goal-oriented, because you are cardinal energy. So you're not afraid to actually put yourself out there. But you're also not afraid to actually sort of hide away. And I feel like with this period of meditation, in midst of all this stress and this anxiety, you sort of allowed yourself to get caught up in these ideas that aren't really rooted in anything real. You know, this could be just past like anxiety and depression that is making you sort of, you're not sure where you're headed right now. And you're fighting somebody in particular, whether it's a boss or whether it's like a lover, or whether it's like a best friend or a father figure. For some reason I'm seeing a patriarch, but it could equally be a woman. Either way, somebody very fixed in their traditions and their ideas. It's like excuse me. It's time to sort of get to the bare bones of like trying to realizing where you're wasting your energy, where you're wasting your willpower, where you're wasting just away. And you might feel like you want to give up right now, and that the fight is over, that somebody else like sort of beat you to it, or somebody else sort of does something better than you, or somebody's like just overachieving you in some way, and you're allowing yourself to get frazzled, and you're allowing yourself to get distracted, or you're so intense on something that's just not important that you're missing the bigger picture, that you're draining your strength and you're draining your own sort of again, willpower. I feel like there's a better word to describe the strength card. I mean, besides the word strength, because it's true, but it's more like our pride. It's more about where we're putting ourselves. With the number 5 coming up and this strength card, it could be directly dealing with a Leo for some of you. I don't usually get a message like that, but I am now. So some of you, a Leo might be important to where, or you might just have to focus on more of that Leonian energy, where it's like you have to come more, you have to, the best thing about Leos, not to really talk about Leos like that, but the best thing about Leos is that, their pride is as great of a strength as it is an inhibitor. In that, if you have pride in yourself, you have some modicum of confidence, you got to at least go out and do something, and if people don't, if someone doesn't, if somebody rejects that, or somebody doesn't accept it as much as you want, you might be upset, but, that's not going to stop you from going forward and doing something else, trying something different. And so for a lot of you, it's like you've probably, all this rejection, or all these negative reactions you've gotten from everybody may have sort of like stunted your confidence, or they've made you recede into like this dream world where you don't want to face reality, or where you don't actually want to talk to people in ways that heals you, because you might just talk to people in a way that's very caustic or curt or very dismissive, or you might just be closed off in general, not really wanting to open yourself up to anybody because you don't want to face that negative backlash, or you don't want to actually put yourself out there again just for somebody to hurt you. But in the process, you've isolated yourself. You've gone too far back into your shell. But now is a time for you to sort of understand what's an illusion and what's the truth. What are some things that you've simply just thought of in your head? What are some things that you what's the storyline you've created that's sort of not rooted in any truth? You have to understand that for yourself. You have to understand where you've allowed yourself to sort of be the victim, and how you can turn yourself into the victor. And we're going to do that by there's still some grief, there's still some hurt, there's a lot of pain that needs to be let go of, fixed old ways of doing things that is rooted in resentment, and is rooted in habit. It's rooted in the fact that you don't want to face up to these fears. You don't want to, because the 5 of Cups is a very difficult energy, even if it is reversed, because ultimately we're having to upset the storm within us, the emotional storm within us, to sort of, I'm picturing it like, there's like an underwater like hurricane or something, and there's all this chaos. But at the end of it, there's like this clearing. Once it all clears, it's cleared away the ocean floor for us to see that everything is still in place. Everything is still harmonious regardless. Even if things have changed, if things have been, if our circumstances around us have changed, if the view is different, if our concepts have like sort of shifted because of it, regardless, that ocean floor is constant. And there's still, we can fill it again with different things, and fill it again with sort of trying to understand things, because that's, the the energy of life. It does that. Things can't be stable forever. With all these fives, things can't continue as they have always been because life doesn't happen that way. Change is imminent, change is inevitable, but change isn't irrevocable. Changes happen to sort of make us better and to teach us lessons to go off of, to go forward from. And it's like there's a final piece here where it's just like you have to allow yourself the freedom and the ability to come out of something that's totally rooted in resentment, people treating you bad. And so you're just like, well, screw them. But at the same time, you've shut yourself off to any sort of outside criticism or any outside help, any outside advice for of what you should do to make that better for yourself. Cutting off other people simply because you think what's right. We all have that idea, but we can't just go on ego alone. The Magician here is an impressive card, of course. It's like my favorite card because we have that power to bring in anything, to manifest anything, to be the manifester. But if we're blinding ourselves to options, and if we're using our powers against us, that's ultimately going to just blow up in our face, or it's going to lead to this stagnation. This stagnation will resume, and this feeling of emptiness or worthlessness, that's going to preside over all. And I ultimately feel like your communication going forward with somebody in particular, with other people, with family, within yourself, that's going to be crucial for understanding where your place is ultimately. Because you don't know where you are right now. You're lost. Excuse me. I try not to speak too directly sometimes. But whoever this message is intended to, I feel like you're just lost right now. Where it's just like, you're not sure where to go, or you're not sure what to say, or you're not sure how to go about it. Because again, you feel like somebody has the upper hand on you. Especially if there's one other person in particular, like somebody you're dating, where it's just like, the arguments are constant. You're not even sure what you're doing in this relationship anymore. You're probably not even questioning whether or not you should still stay here because you're just here out of habit. You're here out of fear of being alone, which fine. But you're not going to be better unless you actually get rid of this person, or if you do things better for yourself. Unless we know we can do better, we don't deserve better. I mean, in all honesty, unless we know that we can attract better into our lives, unless we feel like we can, sort of bring in the sort of tools necessary to implement a true change, we're not going to get better. And it ultimately starts here, and it starts here. And it's like some people don't want us to be better. Some people want to just keep us in a hole or keep us tied down. And that's predicated on years of history and how you perceive your own self-worth. But now I feel like it's a time to sort of, at least if you're not going to implement the change, at least talk about it. Because I feel like this process is necessary. I love, love, love the Five of Wands. Because it's all about, it's about just getting to the truth of the bullshit, especially if it's people around us limiting our growth. Not much will change in the grand scheme of things, at least with other people. We can't control what other people do or think. We can't. But we can control what we're doing, which is what I feel like the Five of Wands is mainly about. I don't know if I said Five of Swords earlier, but Five of Wands is what it's about for me, is that, fuck what everybody else is doing. You can speak your mind, you can have your point of view, you can say what's on your mind, and other people might rebuff you, or other people might just ignore you. But within that process, you're learning more about yourself, and you're learning more about, okay, well, maybe I went too far with saying that. Okay, how can I tailor this conversation so shit doesn't blow up? Or, I was able to thoroughly get my point across. It didn't change their point of view, but hey, I was able to get what was on my chest, get it off, and really express that to somebody else, and they understood that. Or maybe they didn't, but shit, I don't care. It was cathartic for me. So that's more of that energy, just stepping outside of yourself, I feel like it could be an old way of thinking if this isn't a particular person, because this card is represented by Taurus, which is the most fixed energy in my opinion. So it's like understanding that who we are we can't always hold on to forever. I mean, we are who we are, but we have to change with the world around us. We have to change with the circumstances. Either you need to do that internally or somebody else around you needs to understand that. Otherwise, either way, I see you guys just still being stuck and being stagnant. And I really feel like that's been building upon all the prior readings, which is just this energy of like you at a crossroads, you at opposition, you in this sort of strife and this tension. So yes, Cancer, it's going to be important for you guys to like actually sort of break out of this self-perceived shell going forward to truly understand what you want and where you want to be. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys later.